we've got it as a listen again. So I'm just going to run through how we do Eventbrite, and then people who need to use it can figure it out. So I'm just going to go into, turn Eventbrite on for starters. Flourish has just one, we just use the one Eventbrite page and we use it for all sorts. And I'm just going to screen share our Eventbrite page so that you can see it. And we funnel all of our events through this. I will get Karen, and I know another lady who wants to help us make sure we put our events on Facebook more too. I tend to just share links in Facebook rather than know how to do it properly. But anyway, today's all about Eventbrite. So what you'll see on Eventbrite when I'll share the link is, and this is an open, anybody can see this, but Flourish has its own account where we go in behind the scenes, you'll see in a minute. So you could go on past events and you'd see that we run 79 events of all kinds. Most of our events are either supporting women into kind of business, project development, social change, or there might be something social like a quiz, or we run a number of these health and wellbeing events each year. Some of the events are charged for at very sort of cost-effective amounts because we want to encourage people in rather than have a barrier. But also, you'll see the majority are free. They're free events. We either get them funded or we work with people to do pro bono time for us to get stuff done. In addition to this, we also run our Time to Grow programs, and most of the Time to Grow program days and events we don't put on Eventbrite because it's a closed group with a cohort of people. But anything that you can see on here as a past event are things that have been fairly open access. Most of our events we target at women, and the kind of wording and the imagery sort of reflects that. But in reality, a lot of our events are open to men and women. Particularly the business development, the business support events. And there you go, Reinventing the Mantle was all about men. So cool. So just to go to here and now and get us using this stuff, currently we've just got 3 events up live. I threw them on last week just so we've got some examples, and we've got another little batch of events that we're running, and I will send you like an overview to practice putting one on. So what we've got coming up tomorrow, this is actually part of a Time to Grow day, but I've opened it out in case people want to come to the afternoon. I've not really promoted it, but it's on there, and there are a couple of people that booked on, we'll see. In every Eventbrite thing that you do, we'll see behind the scenes in a minute, there's a kind of image, there's the kind of heading and when it all is, there's, you know, date and time that you have to add in, whether it's online or whether it's a real world event. And then there's usually a paragraph or two on what it's all about. And initially, I will probably share that information. I'll pre-prepare it, send it across, and then you can just upload it. But there might be some events where I ask you to come up with the, you know, the spiel on what it is, where that makes sense. So that's just showing you what these pages look like when they're done. And can I go back? Not let me go back. Just see. Oh, I know why. So then just quickly, there's a couple more events. We're starting this Digital Basics series. So there's 2 more of these events to put on that I'll ask you to do between you and Karen today. There's a new image to go on. So we're doing these in partnership with a lady called Claire at the Village Web Companies. It says, so all the details are on, and I will probably get Karen to upload the images on here that she's done for us to make it a bit more snazzy. And then the only other one I was just going to show you, we've got this Excel one. So there's 2 events coming up. There's one about PowerPoint and there's one about WordPress. So I've got some information ready for each of you to whack on the system. Just need to send it you. So you will get an email off me with like telling you what the thing's called, when it is, and the kind of what to put. And you know, you'll see it's similar. It's a similar style. It's kind of a bit of an overview. It's about, look, you'll see some bullet points, and you know, a lot of what we're asking is a cut and paste, very similar. It's just talking about PowerPoint or WordPress instead of Excel. So whatever you produce will look quite like this when it's done.
Okay.
In terms of what it is and how you do it, you can't see this so well, but if I just scroll up, it's a pickle. Here we are. So I've got to sign in, typical. So what happens is you end up signing in. I can't for the life of me remember what my login is, so that'll be interesting. We've got a document with the information, so I can send you the login details if I haven't already. And I'm just going to double check what this is. So we have that many logins for that many things. It can take all your headspace, just remembering your passwords. So let me have a look. Twitter, Eventbrite, where are you? It's because I'm looking.
I should remember it when we put it in last week.
It's here. There it is. So yeah, it's the Flourish Together email address, and I'm going to put that in.
You will send me the password and the email address, okay?
I will do, yeah.
Okay.
Just say it out loud because we're recording it. Let me do that. Here we go. It worked. System works. So once you log in, it doesn't look that different to how it looked before. But what it means, and if you can see in the top corner here, you've got your little lists of things. So here it gives you the option to create an event, which I'm going to click in a minute. Or if I drop down this arrow, then manage my events. I'm just going to quickly go to manage my events, and we'll see, did anybody, oh, here comes Jennifer. Oh, look, we've got 5 people who, considering I only put that on the other day, and I've kind of put it out there for the sake of it to kind of show you how this works, to squeeze a few more in, with no marketing at all. People are, and whether or not they'll turn up, is another matter. That's always the way with Eventbrite. You tend to find if you've got 20 to 50 people book on, you'll get a 10 to 20% dropout rate.
They don't have to look for your event. I recently, if you click all the tags of what you're interested in, it'll send it out to them automatically.
Really interesting. Hiya, Jennifer. I'm just recording this so that if anybody needs to look at this again, they've got it. And I was just whizzing through our past events, what they kind of look like, and I've just logged into Eventbrite in the usual way, and I'm just showing people what happens when you click manage my events. So in the drop down, and it had manage my events, you start to get a little list to see what's sold, if they were for sale, how much is stacking up, and you might be, well, once it's sold, it's paid for. So whether they turn up or not, that money's yours in theory. We tend not to offer refunds on our events. There's an option to do refunds or not. Where it made sense to do that, we would, but because we're not for profit, because we're not charging the earth for our events anyway, if there was a case where somebody booked onto something and they couldn't attend, we try and offer them the option to come to a future event rather than refund. But anyway, case by case basis on all of that. But that's just to give you a heads up on this money side. And it lets you know things will either be on sale or they might be, sales might have ended. There's different options there. I'm not going to go into these, but if we needed, for example, if we needed to edit an event, let's say we wanted to change the picture, or let's say we wanted to tweak something, or we got some new information, there were some new speakers at an event and we wanted to update the content, you can click on these 3 dots at the side and it gives you options. So we could go in and edit that event. I'll just show you for the sake of training how you would do that. So when it says edit the event, it lets you go in, and you'll see in a minute when we go in to create our new event, it looks just like this, except these boxes are blank and we can type in what we like. So I don't need to change the title or anything like that. We could add in new tags, but I'm not going to bother. There's the details is the main content and information. So if we wanted to change the picture, we could delete that and upload a new one. Because to be fair, that's a rough picture. We should really be choosing graphics or images that aren't pixelated. That's a bit pixelated, but I'm not a perfectionist, and if it's just got to get out, it's got to get out. People will book on whether it's got a pretty picture or not in our network, because they know what they're coming to usually. if I'd made a spelling mistake, I could just go in the box here and change the way it was spelt and retype it. Or I could, this brief session, yeah, book now, secure your place, you know, and see you there. You know, I'm just showing you this for the sake of it. You know, you can add in, tweak around what you want. If we got additional speakers, or we wanted to put in some bullet points, or we wanted to cut and paste an agenda, you know, we now know what we're doing, and it's the running orders like this. You could cut and paste that in, but as it stands, you know, this is fine as it is. So I'm just going to click save and leave it be. But that's how you can go in and tweak stuff. One thing actually is worth me showing you, what the things sometimes you do have to go in and change, is, just so you know, although we've ticked online event page, I don't go through all their funny systems. I just send people a Zoom link. You'll see that in a minute, but I just thought, you know, we don't use their systems. But on the ticket side, if you ever needed to change something to do with the tickets, this can happen. So here we've got 40, because it's an online event, the more the merrier. You know, you can have up to 40 people for an event like a workshop, and it's no big deal. For certain events where it might be about, I don't know, health and well-being, or it might be about something very personal or specific, we might shrink that down to 15 to 20, you know. So what you can do is edit the number of tickets you can do. If, for example, it sells out, so let's say, you know, 40 people have booked on here and there's still a week to go, or still 2 weeks to go, and we think we could take more people, and especially if it's a paid for event, then we would up the number of tickets. So if I click edit there, those little dots always let you edit, and you'll see this when we create an event in a minute. Available quantity, if I wanted to increase that to 100, you know, or whatever, you can put whatever you like. So that's something where there's a chance if we sell out, I could say, oh, this event,
please release more tickets.
Exactly, release more tickets, please. And this is the bit where it can go funny. Sometimes you can end up publishing an event and you've set the dates wrong for this, so the sales end too soon, or whatever's happened, the dates have just messed up, and you think your tickets are live and they're not, and it's going in here sorts it out. You might have by accident had tickets end 2 weeks prior to the date, and everyone's going, I can't book a ticket. There's a good chance it's because the date's wrong, so that's why I mention it. I usually set the start time as on the day that you launch them, which must have been on the 29th. And usually ticket sales end a good 12 to 24 hours before the event, because, you know, we need to know who's coming. We need to have time to send them the links. I like to just give myself some breathing space. You might see other people's events where they let you book right up to the last minute, but I like to know who's coming. I like to know numbers, and there's a good chance if somebody wants to come to this event and they've missed the boat, they'll email us anyway, you know, and say, oh, I meant to book this, I meant to book on and I forgot. So we can always sort it if someone's not managed it, but I'd rather not just, you know, create extra stress and open the floodgates at the last minute. So does that make sense so far? Just showing you a couple of quick edits there. I know, Jennifer, you've put quite a few of our events on, I think, before. Have you done some of our events before? Yeah. And it's quite easy to do. And I think I showed Karen last week and you said it's quite like Facebook.
Similar to putting on Facebook events, yeah.
Yeah, so it's quite intuitive. And, you know, there's funny bits where you think, where the hell was that? But we can always answer questions. So just quickly, because I know Shinda's got to head off shortly, we will put a quick event on. Let me have a look. So if I just trying to find the bits on the screen. Just going to manage my events. So I think I'm going back there. Yeah, and I'm going to go back. I just want to get back to the page where we were. So there's more. Will that let me? I'm just trying to get.
You're trying to create one?
Yeah, I just want to get back to my normal page.
Oh, right.
I'm just going to go back to the main. I've clicked on Eventbrite and that's no. Email campaigns. what I'm going to do, because I don't know, is I'm just going to go back to our general page here. And this should, ta-da! So, you know, I got lost there and I'm thinking, where the hell's this page gone? I've just typed in, because I've got it auto-saved. If you go back to our normal Flourish page, which is the one with the numbers, the kind of the link that we give everyone is the summary page, that's where I've gone back to. And this is where you kind of starting afresh. So we're going to create an event. And I'm going to quickly whiz this through because I know we've not got heaps of time. So this event that we're putting on, and I will email people in the next few days other things to stick on, because we've now got more events coming online for our new calendar. But I just recently emailed myself some information. So let me find what I want. So that it's part of the digital basics stuff. I don't think this one's on, is it? The Excel one's on. So we're going to put on digital basics for women change makers. So the title, this is where my life gets chaotic. Where am I? So if we go back over here, what am I doing? Here we go. So in this, so that's just the title. The title for this, you know, is Digital Basics for Women Change Makers. And it's got a word count. So I think, I'm trying to think, what do we call the last one? Let me just see. I'm going here to look at what are our other events. Have been ringing them up? No, it's typical. Never mind. Here we go. Here we go. So the last one was Digital Basics, Women Change Makers, How to Get Started with Excel. So this one needs to be called how. So I'm going to take, with the word count, it's just saying how to get started with, was it PowerPoint? There we go, it fits. Hallelujah. It's a bit like doing a tweet or something where you've got to shave it back. In here, that all stays as it is. These tags, I've showed people before, but it might be, I tend to just throw a few out. Social enterprise, we tend to have, because we're looking for people who might be in that world. VCSE, we might stick in, because that's another label for our sector. We might call it digital skills. Stick that in. I mean, there's probably a more methodical way of doing this, but you've got to remember the majority of our events are to our network. I'm just wondering, I'm trying to think about the actual topic is PowerPoint training, you know. I might do women in business. That'll do for now. We can always go in and add some others. Have you any thoughts, Jennifer? Because I know you've done a few tags for us. Do you normally put anything else in there?
What's the SOCENT?
Oh, do they do them? Is that one? I've not done
Yes, SOCENT.
Oh yeah, there you go. SOCENT. That is the Twitter's, you know, word or hashtag for social enterprise. Oh. But digital skills, PowerPoint training, SOCENT, social enterprise, I don't know, women in business. I don't know. There's others. You can have up to 10, I think, that you can put in. So there's room for more, but for time, I'll just leave it like that. Please fill out what have I missed. Location. That'll be why. Oh, this is in the real world. So, wow. Oh, now this is interesting. Where the hell is it?
Oh, so they actually attend this event.
They do. Where have I said? Oh, and there's a job to do to change these, because they're not going to be at Cheetham Hill anymore. Oh. These are going to be here. Meba Beauty Salon. Sorry, I'm just finding the address for where it needs to be. So what I will do is I'll send you an email, Shinda, with an overview of what we want you to put on and all the bits and pieces. And I'm just trying to find, here we go. So the address is Meba. We're going up in the world. 3rd floor. 3rd floor, type, floor, third floor, King's Court. King's Court. 2 to 4 Exchange Street, basically opposite French Connection in Manchester, apparently. M27HA. There it is. Third floor. Look at that. And it, voila. And it brings a map up.
Oh, great.
Happy days. Date and time. It's a single event. When does it start? Good question. It's on the email. Where have you gone? So these are going to be, let's look at the others. I think the 10 till 1, yeah. It's going to be 23rd. What date did I say that was? Sorry, I'm just rereading my email so I don't mess it up. 23rd of June, this one. So 23rd of June is down there. It's a Wednesday, starting at 10 a.m. You can either scroll through it or you can type it in like I am. 10 till 1. If I get anything wrong, I can always go back and change it, but that should be right. So save and continue. We're getting there. So it's already started to show you in this left-hand corner what it's called, how to get started. I've got these pretty pictures to add, and they're not on this laptop because my life's never easy. But if I wanted to go and find a picture, I would go into my pictures and I'd find a pretty picture. Oh, let's have a nice picture of a crystal ball. And we can, you know, we'll change that afterwards. You know, and what we'll change that for is an image that Claire has sent me where she's put something special together for this. I'm just going to stick that there to show you how you do it. You just find your picture in your documents, or, you know, that I might have sent attached to an email, or you might have gone and found something that kind of roughly, clearly a crystal ball isn't what we need for that one. It would be something that looks digital or PowerPointy or whatever. But anyway, so let's see if I can still cut and paste. No, I can't. So we then yeah, I'm just gonna, I think it will fit that tidy a bit again. So summary, God knows, let's just see. Will that fit? Yeah, I might just leave it like that for now. Digital basics. Get the best from. That'll do for now. And then in terms of the content, it's just a bunch of bullet points really, and we can check it after. And what I'll probably do is check that it kind of reads a bit like the others, which we can do in a sec. So I'll just pop in the information. All too often, learn how to use PowerPoint to do these things. I'm just going to go to this other one. I don't know if you can you see me jumping around, Jennifer, on the screen?
Oh, yeah.
I've gone to the Excel page, and as you'll see, so in the thing, it wants to say how to get started and make the most of. So we can change that. All too often, blah, blah, blah. So what I haven't added in is this. So I'm just going to copy this, which you can take from a previous, to make them mirror each other. I'm just taking it off a previous page. There is a way to copy event and copy stuff, and sometimes duplicate an event and things. I rarely use that, but you can use that because usually it says something quite different. But in this case, because they're all at the same time, and that kind of thing would be helpful to duplicate, might make your life easier. So I'm going to take that out because I didn't have that in the others. How to use, let's just see, double check. How to get, so this says how to get started with and make the most of. So let's make it say that. How to get started with and make the most of. So that's that bit. And then we've got our spiel there. I think that's as much as we can put on that page. There are other things you can do. You can add in other pictures. I just keep it simple because usually we've not got the time to faff about. But if people have got wacky ideas for spicing up our Eventbrite pages, then feel free to share those. So it's not a paid, so this is where we start to tell them the tickets that we want to create. So it's a free event. Rather than it say general admission, because it sounds a bit official, like you're going to the cinema, I just tend to put book me on. Available quantity. Now these are limited, so I'm going to limit it to 10. And then if we need to up them, we can. The room capacity we can take 12-ish, plus a couple of trainers. So I don't want to overdo it with social distancing and everything. Start date, as you'll see, is now. Sales end the day before at 6 o'clock. So that needs to say I don't know. Is it the 22nd? Is it the 20?
The event's the 23rd.
I think it's the 26th.
Oh, sorry.
Is it?
Oh, God.
I think. I know what my brain is because we're doing another.
Maybe I'm on the last
We're doing
one.
another event, aren't we? So I'm going to put the 25th, 1800 hours. Let's just, does it, in fact, and you can see because it tells us in the corner. Oh, it's Wednesday, the 23rd of June. Sorry, you're right. I've got the, it's because I'm thinking that we're in May.
You're a step ahead there.
I am.
Nicola, I was
Yeah.
going to ask,
Mhm.
so how far in, like, before the event starts, do you sell the tickets?
Just straight away. As soon as I publish it,
Okay.
it can just go. So normally, if you look, it gives you today's date at midnight. So midnight, it gives you the time in the past almost. So you could, if you weren't ready, we were going to put a load on and we weren't ready to sell them yet, we wanted a launch date for ticket sales going live, or we were putting a batch on for the autumn and we're just having them sat there and we'll figure the rest out a bit nearer the time. You could just have the start date in whenever, the summer.
Okay.
But, so you can change that, but I tend to just leave it and make sure that this is correct. This, the day before, 6 o'clock the day before is usually when I do advanced. If you've got to run Shinder, don't worry. Advanced settings. So description, I'm not putting a description in here. What you would do with this, sometimes you're going to create more than one ticket. So if we're running a conference or if we were running an event where we've got women from our network, women from outside the network, public sector leaders, people from the private business, you might have a sliding scale ticket price. So it might be, £100 for the public and private sector, or £100 for, businesses with a turnover of X and upwards. And then you might have it, £25 to such a body, free to people on the Time to Grow programme. So you might have to create different tickets for the different groups. I try not to get too complicated with these things. So you'll find most of them are just like this. And it'll be clear if we're ever going to change that and we need to put in a few. We've got an event in September where that might be the case, and with some of our health and wellbeing events, we might have a number of subsidised ticket places to be able to offer a few free tickets, but it might cost everybody else 15 to 20 quid. So you get that kind of information. This, you see tickets per order, minimum 1, maximum 10. This always needs changing because we could never give somebody 10. In this instance, I'm going to say minimum quantity 1, maximum quantity 1. Sometimes the most I'd ever let people get is 2 tickets or 4 tickets. It depends what it is. But if it's just a small group like this, I don't want these tickets disappearing. I need them to I need to know who's coming. So it's a one-on-one. Usually, if it's just a general event where there's 30 people coming or whatever, give or take, I say you can have up to 2 tickets that you can, bring a friend or bring a colleague or bring a member of your team or whatever. And for some events, we might say it's a big networking event, it's a conference, it's a free-for-all, and you might be able to have up to 4 tickets, but it's rarely more than that. That's the way we tend to do it. These are e-tickets and sales channels everywhere, and just leave it like that. So I'm going to create that, and then I think we're nearly ready to publish. So there it is. It's showing it's there. It's showing we've got 10 tickets. They're free. If we wanted to edit it, we just click on those 3 little dots and we could go back and go, oh, I got the date wrong, or oh, I meant to add this, or I finally found a picture, you know. So that's how you do that. And then next, and it should publish it now. Ta-da! So your event, tips before you publish. Oh, I'm just going to show you this. There's a last thing, and then 2 minutes we'll be done. I always customize your order form. What that means is when people book on and they register, they're filling in certain questions, or you can add in questions. This is where you always add in, you know, what are your dietary requirements, or what do you hope to get from the event? You know, those sorts of questions, if we're asking those. On virtual events, we never need to bother. If you just go down here, it's hard to spot. It took me forever. I could never spot it. This customized checkout questions, and you see it there. So underneath attendee information, buyer only, that customized checkout questions, you just move it along. It's not even that obvious, but there it is. And that now means that when people register, we're asking them to give us their details and their email address. I tend to now these days, because of one thing and another, I don't require a mobile phone number, but I ask for it. I don't ask them for the home details in this instance. Job title, company, probably company organisation, but I don't require it because they might not have one. Website, I tend not to bother. Gender is best just to be on the safe side. Most of our events, as I say, are open to men and women, but in those cases where actually it's a women only session, it just helps us spot if we need to email anybody and check that they're booked for the right thing. Add a custom question. This is the one. And what am I asking them? I will ask, have you got any dietary requirements, Paul? Just to show you how you do it. So question prompt, we're not feeding them. Well, we are. There'll be snacks, but it's 10 till 1. Have you any dietary requirements? Question mark. And that would just be, instead of a checkbox where you would put in your options, yes, no, maybe, or I'm just going to leave it open. Paragraph text, they can write what they like. Anything else we should ask them? I might ask them, oh, I know what I asked at some of these events before. So I think that's saving. I'm going to ask one more question and then we're done. We'll wrap up. The only other question I want to ask them, because they're coming to a digital event, is, do you have a laptop or computer?
Access to,
yeah. So, do you have access to a laptop, or what would you call it? Device you can bring to aid training on the day, to aid your. There you go. We will bring some with us. I need to say that.
Need a checkbox.
So we'll say yes, no, yes, yes, no, don't know. There you go. That'll do. Job done. So that's it. I'm going to click publish, and that's the event sorted. If you just watch, I will press the magic button. I think we're there. Registration options. See, here's the bit where it talks about refunds. Allow attendees to register. So I do allow people to edit their information after registration. That means they can cancel the registration. So it's worth leaving that on. And accept refunds. I'm going to put that off, because we're not selling them anyway, and just so you know how you turn off refunds, and then save. Job done. So hopefully that's fairly clear, and it's given us a little tool there to, and then what I'm going to do is click publish event. Up at the top it says publish event, publish now. Did you see there was a thing saying schedule publish? So you can do it in a month or whenever you want. So woohoo! It says we're now live. Share, share, share. I don't bother with all that. I know I'm really bad and I probably should, but I'd rather know who I'm marketing to than end up. It's very people, because
a bit more control over it.
A little bit more control, but also, as you know, our events are quite niche. Our community is a type, and it's not, business for breakfast, and it's not any old women's knees up. You know, they're quite specific. You come in because you're either trying to create social change, you're trying to run a social enterprise, you've got ideas that you want to get off the ground. And I don't want people coming who haven't realised what we do and who we are and think, what the hell is this? So I tend to, and maybe I'm overthinking it there, you know, maybe we should be more broad, but
well, if you get enough people to an event,
we don't struggle to get people to our events, and you know, I'd rather give priority to our network, so that's why we do it that way. And if people are, you know, are hot on, you know, Eventbrite and are signed up for all these notifications, then, you know, they'll come to find out. If, you know, let with the crystal ball, let fate decide how it should be. So that's that done. I hope Shinda's managed to.
Yes, Nicola, thank you.
Sorry, we're a little bit over. I'm gonna wrap up and stop sharing there, but it should be fairly clear. I'll be sending through information and hopefully a helpful resource as well.
Yes, Nicola.